But I got some sad news for the people.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately, it's out of the West Coast. The Starlight Hollow City Council has announced that they're shutting down the Moonrise Labyrinth.
No.
Yeah, that's right. A family favorite of Driftwood residents for generations. The labyrinth will be no more. It's particularly revered because nobody knows the origin of it. It's just always been there, and there are no records of its construction. It's said that the original settlers of Driftwood just found it in the same condition as it currently is, and that the hedge and plant life inside have never grown or died, and in fact cannot die or be cut. And the council, they're shutting it down. They're saying too many people never come out and are never found, and they now believe there's a portal somewhere inside the labyrinth. To me, that's just a Driftwood rite of passage. You know, some make it and some don't. That's life. What do we think?
I'm sorry. The council are upset that not enough people come out of a labyrinth. Like, isn't that the whole point of a labyrinth?
Yeah.
You don't go into the labyrinth to come out of the labyrinth.
To weed out the dunces.
Yeah, you go into a labyrinth to face a minotaur, to be killed by the minotaur, to go to the other plane. Like, isn't
a labyrinth
that the
is a
point
metaphor for life. If you can't make it out of the labyrinth, then how are you going to handle this life of ours?
If we wanted to get into a labyrinth and come out the other side, I just take a bus. What's the point?
If
they do have the bus stop for people who the labyrinth is too overwhelming.
Which, like, that's fine. If you're a coward, take the cowardly way.
You just called yourself a coward.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying if I were in that situation.
You would be
when
a coward.
you have been in the labyrinth, did you take the bus, though?
Yeah.
So
There you go.
Did you guys go in?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Been through it many
And you came
times.
out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's actually not that hard if you just keep following like the left turns.
Yeah, you just stay left.
Yeah.
Just go left every time.
I have a phobia of minotaurs.
Well, you got to get your phobias out of life.
I think I might be allergic.
Also, the minotaur, I feel like most people have a phobia of minotaurs.
Yeah.
No, that's
they're
specific to
very
me.
afraid. They're very fearful.
Yeah,
You know, they're a scary thing.
They're not for hugs, they're for mauling.
It says that there's a sign on the entrance to the labyrinth that
Do
says
not hug the
minotaurs are
minotaurs."
not for hugs. Do not hug minotaurs.
I feel
Also,
like it's,
don't feed it.
Yeah,
Don't
they
be
eat
like
enough.
taking in snacks. They've got enough.
They eat
Yeah.
enough people.
And that's what happens as well. You give it the wrong kind of food, they get a little bit pudgier than they should be. It really ruins their like ecological systems. Like, you can't just be feeding them anything. Like, no bread. Everyone thinks feed a minotaur bread. Don't take it your old bread.
Yeah,
Okay.
just feed it
protein
yourself.
based. Yeah, feed it your own legs and arms.
Yeah.
And that might satisfy it enough to let you leave, and then hopefully you don't get sucked into the portal.
Wait, so you guys made it through. Was there a portal?
Yeah.
Oh, where to?
I didn't.
You don't know. You
into
don't
it.
go in it.
Oh,
Why
you
would I
didn't
go
go?
into it?
Yeah, obviously
No.
that's why we're still here. If we
Yeah.
went into the portal, we wouldn't be here anymore, Ben.
So you made it all the way in the maze.
Yeah.
You faced the Minotaur.
It
I'm
looks
guessing.
like a black diamond
Yeah.
in the middle of it.
I
Yeah.
looked through it.
People
and
initially
yeah.
thought that it was, just an interesting black diamond. Now they believe that it might be a portal.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming that must have been the portal, right?
I looked at it and I thought that much in the way that the color black is the absence of light, like that really felt like the absence of light, that diamond. Like, that was a diamond that I went, oh, there's absolutely
It had no
light in
reflection.
this.
black hole.
Yeah, like it was the darkest shade I've ever seen in my life. And at that point I went, I don't need to know more. What, you want me to just like go into a portal, maybe end up in an alternative dimension, maybe, I don't know, future or past, have to warn people of an impending
Yeah,
no,
you can
thank you.
end up in a bookcase.
Not on my weekend. Not on my weekend. I have enough stuff to do.
Yeah. You go into the labyrinth for a fun time and Minotaur fights. You don't go in there.
And facing your like fears and true self and all that.
Yeah, that's why you go into the labyrinth. Don't go into a labyrinth to piss off to some alternate dimension.
No.
I'm just not ready to face who I really am.
Also, I argue that if you go into the alternate dimension, you've not really completed the labyrinth because you never made it out
You didn't
of the
get
other
through.
side. Yeah. You've,
a
if
good
anything,
point.
just like cheat coded the labyrinth.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's like an alternative Driftwood where there's an like a maze that people don't go into, they just come out of because they come out from that portal?
good question.
Very likely.
That's a good question.
But why
Very
does it have
likely.
to be? And maybe it's not a maze. Maybe it's just like where we have a labyrinth, they have, I don't know, like a coffee shop,
Could be.
you know?
and just a bunch of very confused baristas.
Hot
And
Fast Earth.
And it's a shame
Indeed.
because
Hot Fast Dirt.
Hot Fast Dirt.
Hot Fast Dirt.
Hot Fast Dirt
it's a
Cafe.
real shame because then they're there and they feel awkward, like they have to buy something because you don't want to just like go in and not be
Yeah.
waiting in
Like,
line.
ooh, I didn't even
Like-
intend to be in this cafe.
Yeah, and if maybe they need to use the bathroom, and then they'll feel like even more pressure that they have to buy
Which
something
they
from the
probably
cafe.
will have to use the bathroom to wipe the Minotaur blood off their faces.
Yeah.
Because you can't just show up in a cafe with a bunch of blood on you.
You at least
there will
want
be
to
questions.
check. You want to check your face for entrails,
Mhm.
for
Your own or others.
your own or others. You don't know like whose they are, but either way, you want to just like check what you're playing with today before you
What
go
are you
in.
playing with?
What are you playing with?
Entrail-wise.
Before you go up and speak to the barista, because you don't want to be there and like looking at the shock, horror on their face.
So embarrassing.
Yeah. Oh God, I've done it once.
When
and
people
it was-
notice you have
I
entrails
bet
on you
they-
and you didn't
Oh,
I bet they're used to it at this point.
at that cafe,
Yeah.
assuming there is a cafe.
This fictional cafe that
yeah.
we're speculating about.
Indeed.
you think every time someone comes out, they're like, oh, another one.
Yeah.
If
One of these
anything,
folks.
if I worked in that cafe, I'd be like, oh, another person using a cheat code to get out of completing a labyrinth.
So you,
That's what I'd
you
be
said
thinking.
you
Another
went to that
coward.
cafe.
No.
I-
I
okay.
went to that.
Got it.
I was talking in a hypothetical
Yeah. This is
situation.
all
A what
purely
if.
Now,
hypothetical speculation.
Different to your hypothetical situation with the bus because you actually did that one time.
Yes.
Yeah.
But mine was just a pure hypothetical.
Got
Indeed.
it. Got it.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Indeed.
I'm glad that you've been practicing.
I have been.
Yeah, Bench is working on workshopping some catchphrases.
And for now, I'm sticking to the one that we all agreed on as the show's catchphrase, which is
Indeed.
Penny, you
I
didn't do
don't
it.
like to be forced into a catch. I think if it's
That's
I
fair.
Think, I think if you're
I respect
prompting
that,
it with a conductor's hand,
Then it's not coming
yeah.
about
That's why I
naturally.
don't believe orchestras are natural.
You have taken a hard anti-orchestra stance.
They're not natural.
I cannot hear you go off on your rant about tar again.
Like what I think of road surfaces is very different to what I think of orchestras. Okay, those are two very different things.
Yeah, Bench is just rattling off
I'm gonna let
Your
you get
many
away with
different-
this.
Yeah,
hard takes and
hard
opinions.
takes.
Yeah.
But I
I'm gonna
just
let you
think
get away with this because we all know how you feel about Lydia Tarr, famous composer.
I just think that orchestras are not natural because
conductor.
they wouldn't play together like that without someone prompting them for it.
A puppet master.
Yeah.
Now-
Are you are you really musicians if someone's explicitly telling you what to do all the time? I don't think that's how the Rolling Stones are. You're telling me someone tells Mick Jagger what to do with his voice? No way that man listens
He just goes for it.
or remembers
the
the
music.
information, I assume, at this state.
He's
and
just
age-
freestyle. You
yeah.
see every song when they
Yeah.
play live, he's just freestyling, rolling with it.
I assume Ronnie
And it
would
happens to be
Yeah.
the lyrics of the song that they're
usually,
all playing.
yeah, 99.9% of the time, he gets it.
Sometimes he just goes totally
Yeah.
off on his own.
Once he sang a real good version of Chapel Roan's Hot to Go, and I think it confused and alarmed everyone.
Over satisfaction.
Yeah.
Over the
They
back
kind of go, but like
the
it's like
instrumentation
go
for
bash together, but it was fine.
it was clunky.
Yeah. I mean, you get some mashups, so you're like, that's perfect.
Hmm.
This was not one of them. Not one of them.
Misstep Mick.
His when he started singing the Star Spangled Banner over also Satisfaction for some reason.
It's true. They played Satisfaction. I think the band got confused and just kept playing Satisfaction.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I have to sing something else.
Mhm.
So he just started singing other
Yeah.
stuff.
You know who wasn't satisfactioned? The audience.
Indeed.
They
Well
could get
said.
that.
That was natural to me. That was natural and perfect, the way you just
Yeah.
used Indeed.
Ah, I didn't even realize it.
See, that
It was so natural. I
yeah.
didn't even realize that I had said Indeed.
Yeah, I'm talking to you first chair violin. This is the attitude you should have.
Ooh,
Sorry, I was just putting on
the
some blast there.
condescension towards first chair violin.
I was
Wow,
just-
Maestro's being put
Yeah.
on blast everywhere.
Just putting.
Putting Maestros on blast.
Maestros, you on blast.
Oh, I felt I said everything I could say. Put me under a lot of pressure there to say more.
I think you've made
Now
your
I feel like
stance
I just
clear.
need to name them.
I feel like say one more thing.
Charlene Jenkins, you're on blast.
We can move on.
Indeed. And I think now that orchestras and conductors have been properly put in their place, we can move on to our first commercial break.